This is 37th Street Radio and TV. We are out here hooking you up with the best of the best interviews. And today we have another special guest. So guest, please just introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Audrey Kariithi, or Kariithi Audrey. I am a counseling psychologist by profession, and I also own a business. I am a baker. Yes.
So from your Instagram bio, I was just able to see that you are a counseling psychologist. I just want you to explain what that really means and what it entails.
Okay. Counseling psychology is a part of psychotherapy that mainly deals with talk therapy. Yeah. So we mainly deal with talk therapy, not ile ya kulala kwa couch ati na tell me about your dreams or something like that. No. We mainly deal with talk therapy. Every counselor is different. Every counselor uses different techniques to get people to open up and things like that. So yeah, I think that's, unless you have like really specific questions, in general, we just deal with talk therapy. Yeah.
So I am interested to know how you even found yourself in this career path, because like guys, usually we are coming from an era where guys love the conventional careers, and let's say you are a lawyer, you are a doctor. Now for you choosing something like this, how did it even come up?
I think I've always been drawn to therapy, but I think by that time, I think it started in high school. I used to, no, how would I call it? Like we'd go meet with maybe someone would write me a note and say, oh yeah, by the way, I really need to talk to you. And we'd go to our school chapel and we'd sit and we'd talk, and then I would give them advice. So I think that's where my counseling passion began, like helping people. Then when I went to university, I actually wanted to study sociology because it was helping people as such. Then I ended up falling in love with psychology. So that's how I found myself in that career path, I would say so, yeah. And it's been great ever since.
So when you have already studied, you are starting to practice. I want to know did the market embrace you, or were they skeptical of what you're doing? Also, you can talk about in terms of friends and family. Were they like, look for something else to do, you can't do this, or how was it?
Okay, so I graduated in 2019, just before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit in March, I believe, of 2020. There was no market to embrace you because generally counseling is if I do say so, it's a very difficult field to find yourself in because not everyone understands what you do. So it's a very difficult field if you're not working in the hospital setup, if you're not working for an NGO and things like that. It's really difficult to find work as a counselor. I'm not saying that to discourage anyone. It's just that make your connections very early. Something I wish I knew when I was in school is make your connections early, use your lecturers, try as much as possible and get a lot of volunteer work, get the word out there that you're studying counseling psychology and things like that. But in terms of the market embracing you, really, I don't know. Yes, when you tell someone you actually do counseling, it's like, oh, wow, you do counseling. That's interesting. So can you read my mind? That's what everyone tells you. It's like, my God, can you read my mind? So the embrace is not fine. They understand that your job is cool per se, but they don't see a need in their lives. So if my immediate friends and my immediate family don't see a need for a therapist in their lives, it's very difficult to also tell people that, yeah, but you need a psychologist in your life. Just not because you're mad, because life sometimes. Yeah.
Now you've said that you graduated in 2019, and then of course the next year we had Corona. and now could even practice. You see, that alone could make someone just choose something else different to do. So I'm wondering how you are still able to maintain your cool and even still date, you're still a counseling psychologist.
I will not lie. I took a sales job, I think at some point in 2020, and I worked there for 3 weeks, 3 good weeks. And I just told my boss, you know what, this job is not giving me any satisfaction. I was like, I'm done. I thought of going into the banking sector, and I was like, yeah, maybe I can become a teller. And funny thing is, I was even called for an interview for that job, and I didn't get it. It was a sure bet job, and I didn't get it. So how I have found myself in this circumstance is God, one, and two, it's because I really love what I do. And not very many people can say that about their job, but I do love what I do, and it keeps me, there are brighter days ahead. It's tough, but I keep telling myself there are brighter days ahead, and there's also the business part of it. So yeah.
From just your experience, I want to know the demographic of guys who really contact, the guys who really look for your services. Are they maybe the elderly? Are they the young? Most of them maybe students? You can just talk about that. We can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now. You can continue.
Now I think I will just remove my earphones because so when I talk about sorry, the question was what demographic, and as I was saying, I've had the chance to work with very many different age groups, from the elderly, from the elderly, I've worked with children, I've worked with teenagers, I've worked with my own people who are very close to my age group. So I think everyone does need my service. I think people who normally look for me are people who, I will say, are self-aware that they do have a problem that they admit they cannot go through it alone. So they need help. They just need someone to hold their hand. And maybe sometimes it's also someone to just validate them and tell them, you know what, it's okay. It's okay that you're facing this. It's okay that this is what you're going through. It's okay that you feel like this. Most of the time, people just need someone to validate their, like, whatever it is that is going in their life. Yeah. So generally someone who's very self-aware and knows that, okay, sawa, niko kwa shida.
Yeah. From other psychologists, we usually get the impression that maybe men do not like looking for counseling services. So I don't know if you have also seen this throughout your career practicing. I don't know if you have experienced that.
I have. Funny thing is, I was having a session today, and it was a group counseling session, and the men did say that they really do not see why they need counseling. They don't. I think it's just societal. It's the way we have been brought up. It's the way in an African setting, men are the men. Generally, we use men as an adjective. So many strengths, many kukaa ngumu. So when you're going through something, you're like, you know what, I'm not going to tell anyone. So that has trickled down to even the young men we have. Before they do admit that they have a problem, it takes a very long time. And even after they know that I have a problem, they really don't want to seek help, because I think it's weird when you seek, I don't know, you would be in a better position to tell me that it would be very weird to sit and tell someone, hey, I really feel like this, I feel like crying. And then, it's me. So if you're coming to me, I'm a lady. So if you're coming to tell me you feel like crying, you think I'll be like, you feel like crying? A man. So I think it's just men fear being judged. Above all else, I think they just fear being judged. Yeah, and misunderstood.
So do you really think this can change anytime sooner?
We need to do a lot of unlearning, and men need to unlearn a lot when it comes to therapy, when it comes to just seeking help, even if it's social settings, even if it's even if it's not in the counseling sector, they can also seek help from their friends, from their family. It's just to unlearn that it does not make you less of a man if you seek help. I would think. Yeah.
And then I also just want to talk about, we have seen the growth of depression cases. So I just want you, because of your experience, what can guys do in order to just stay stable, even when maybe they are faced with something that maybe they can be depressed, you have lost your job or something like that. So how can you, that situations, how can you just maintain your cool and stay stable when it comes to your thinking?
I can't give you an answer that therapy doesn't work like one size fits all. I cannot give you a definite answer on how I will tell you, oh yeah, if you do this, you can prevent depression. All I can tell you is signs to watch out for. If you know you're depressed, I don't know. I don't think or in my capacity of thinking, I don't feel like there is something that someone necessarily does to get depressed. I feel like depression can come in at any point in time in life. It's just triggered by any situation, and the situation can be literally anything that is devastating. So it can be loss of a job, loss of a loved one. Sometimes I think this is what people call, you'd be just fine, and then things are just not going the way you seem they're going. It's just, depression can be triggered by absolutely anything. So what I can give is signs to watch out for so that you know you're depressed. I can't really tell you this is what you will do to avoid it.
Yeah, and even besides you being a counseling psychologist, we can also talk about Kariithi cake arts, and I just want to know how that came about. Is it something that also started while you were young? Is it something that you have just picked up when you are an adult? How did it come up?
Kariithi, I think I have I have a love-hate relationship with that business. But my mom used to bake cakes a very long time ago, and I think she did some of my birthday cakes. I think I fell in love with baking there because she'd make. I loved cake. I really loved cake. Then fast forward to 2017, there was a lecturer's strike, and my mom was like, you know what, just go do baking. You can earn 2-3 shillings here and there, at least to boost your pocket money. And I was like, great. But over time, now developing it into a business was hard. The first, I think, 2 years were hard because of imposter syndrome. There are people who've been doing this for years. There are people who this is their full-time job. They have nothing else to do, so they have enough time to practice the craft. They have enough time to, they have made enough connections that they are making like 3 cakes a day. I was at a point where I would make like 2 cakes a month. And then funny thing is, when the pandemic hit, that's when the business picked up. That's when I started getting orders from even people I didn't know. A while ago, I was getting orders from like my family, or if it's someone I didn't know, it was definitely a referral from like a family friend or something. But now I was getting people off of Instagram who didn't even know me, people who just stumbled on my page. They were like, oh, yeah, I saw your page, I liked your cakes. Can I buy one? I have this function and things like that. And it's fun. But over time, I have used it as my therapy. I have used it to channel my creative side. I've used it also to just be in a safe space to just think and to sometimes express myself. I love doing kids' cakes because I think the inner child in me really gets happy when I do those cakes. It's like, wow, let's put a butterfly here, let's put Batman there, let's put, I really, really love doing it. Yeah, so that's about Kariithi cake arts.
So I just want to think about, you have said that during the Corona time, at least you started making a lot of sales. So I just want to know, like, were you confused because everything was crumbling down at that time? So were you confused or something like that?
I was very confused for a long period of time. I was really confused whether to pick up the counseling side or whether to pick up my baking side. It was, I still up to date live with that sort of cognitive dissonance inside of me that I don't know what exactly I will pick. Because there's a time the business was doing really, really well, and I was getting 3 to 4 orders up to the point that I stopped even introducing myself as a psychologist. I'd introduced myself as I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own business. I bake cakes, and I'd remove for you my business card. Over about the last, I'd say, half a year or so, I have now gone back to counseling, and I have gone back to psychology, and I have gone back to now the business has taken a backseat. One thing I think I fail at as a human being is multitasking and giving my energy to 2 things at the same time. It one side is suffering. At this point, I know the side that's suffering is my business, because I'm not able to give that my 100%, because now my focus is fully on being a psychologist. But who knows? Maybe I shall master the art of multitasking. Yeah.
So as we are finishing up, I want you to talk to guys who are trying to start out something, be it a business, be it they're in school, be it starting anything in the digital space. I just want you to talk to them and just give an advice.
Let me start with someone who's starting up a business. Just start. My God. Okay, but have a plan. But every time imposter syndrome is real, and you will never be the best at your craft if you don't start it. There's always someone who will be better than you, and that's good, because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you growing. It keeps you striving and learning. It really just keeps you motivated even at some point, because you really do want to get better. So just start. For someone who wants to start up their business, just start. It will be the first few months or the first few years will be hell. I kid you not. But after a while, you'll be, especially if you're getting into the baking space. If I show you cakes I used to do in like 2018, I looked at that cake, I was like, someone gave me money for this cake. I even feel like giving them a hug. I'm like, do you want your money back? But yeah, I think that's just it. For someone who's going to school, I really hope that you can be able to study something that is your passion, because sometimes outside here, you have to gain experience. Sadly, it's just experience in quotes, because if you don't do something that you love, you'll end up very depressed. And even as you do something you love, and I think I was seeing this post another day, that no one talks about that, because you're doing something you love, at one point you'll end up doing it for free, just because you love doing it and you're really good at it, but no one is seeing it, so you're doing it for free. So you're not, it's draining, it's tiring, I know, but I think better days are coming ahead. I think I'm telling that to someone out there and telling that to myself, that there will be better days ahead. Definitely, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us the time.
anytime.